If I worked for EA Sports, these are the exact Madden ratings I would give to every single tight end going into Madden 26. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and comment down below what position group you want to see next. Let's hop right into the tier list. Kicking off this list, we've got Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. He obviously didn't have his best season last year, but he did have his career high in touchdowns with 11. But with that being said, I feel like he's about an 89 overall, maybe an 88 overall. I still think he's a top 10 tight end in the NFL, but 88 to 89 seems fair. Moving on to Isaiah Likely, the other Ravens tight end, who I personally believe is a better tight end than Mark Andrews at this point. However, do I think that his Madden rating should reflect that? I don't know. I don't know if Isaiah Likely has done enough to prove on the field that he's enough. I think that Isaiah Likely is better, but I don't know if I can justify giving him a higher Madden rating, if that makes any sense. Maybe I'm only saying he's better off vibe and what I'm seeing him potentially be rather than what we've actually seen. But with that being said, I think Isaiah Likely at minimum deserves an 86 overall, so they're both going to be in that tier. Moving on to Mike Gesicki of the Cincinnati Bengals. He had a pretty good year in Cincinnati, one of his better years at least since leaving Miami. So I think that about an 80 overall is fair for Mike Gesicki. If you think that he's over an 80, I don't know, maybe you're a big Mike Gesicki fan, all 5 of you out there, but an 80 overall seems completely fair to me. Moving on to David Njoku, one of the most slept on tight ends in the entire NFL. He deserves so much more love, but you know, he doesn't have consistent quarterback play, which to me makes, and that's why we see him be inconsistent at times. But David Njoku, does he crack the 90 overall barrier? I think he does, and I'd put him right at a 90 overall. I think that maybe is his ceiling as well. I don't know if I can see him being higher than a 90, maybe a 91, but that is the absolute limit for David Njoku. And to round out the AFC North, we've got Pat Freiermuth, who has been not disappointing, but not great. I'm pretty sure he was a first-round pick, and he hasn't exactly done much to, show that he was worth it. I'll put him right at an 80, 81 overall as well. He's better than Mike Gesicki for sure, so we'll put him above Mike Gesicki. Moving on, we've got Dalton Kincaid, who I think is a very underrated tight end as well. He just doesn't, this past season wasn't his best. His rookie season was much better, but with that being said, I still believe he's a solid tight end, and I'd put him in that 80 to 85 range, probably about an 81, 82 overall as well. Then we've got Dawson Knox, who at this point in his career is really just there to be an extra offensive lineman. No disrespect to Dawson Knox. I know he can make big plays at times, but that's like 1 to 2 times a season. He is an excellent run blocker, but for a tight end, you got to be able to do both, in my opinion, and that puts him in that 75, 76 overall range, barely not being a 74 overall in my opinion. Moving on to Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith had an excellent season last year with the Dolphins, one of his best years, honestly, at least since being in Tennessee. I love the way that Miami utilized him, or at least the way McDaniels was using him. I think Jonnu Smith deserves to be about an 86 overall. Is that too high for him? I don't think that's too high for Jonnu Smith. I think an 86 overall is completely fair. We'll separate him and Isaiah Likely there. There we go. Okay. Hunter Henry. This guy, as a Patriots fan, I love Hunter Henry. He can get some touchdowns for us. He makes big plays. He's a very clutch player. He's more timely than he is like big stats. He just makes big plays for the Patriots. He rarely makes mistakes. I think that Hunter Henry would fall in that 80 to 85 range, probably closer to about an 84, 85. He's better than everybody on the tier so far. And last but not least in the AFC East is going to be Mason Taylor, the rookie from LSU that the Jets drafted. No disrespect, I would not have wanted him over guys like Harold Fannin Jr., Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Ferguson. So with that being said, I'm going to put him right at a 74 and under for the overall. He's a rookie. I think it's fair. And then we've got what I believe to be Tyler Warren, who I think is the closest thing we've seen to a like Rob Gronkowski in a while. Brock Bowers is very good, but he's more of a Travis Kelce in my opinion. I see Tyler Warren more of a Rob Gronkowski. Is it fair to put him in 80 overall, though? I don't think so, but I will be giving Tyler Warren a 79 overall. We haven't seen him play yet, but he has super high expectations, and I think he's going to be a fantastic tight end, both pass catching and run blocking. Okay, so then we've got Chidobe. I don't know how to say Okonkwo. I was about to say a Chidobe Awuzie. We've got Okonkwo from Tennessee, the Tennessee Titans tight end. He's solid. He's fine. I don't think he's great, though. He's got potential, but he's about a 75 to 79 overall. Probably put him at that 77 overall, maybe a 78 overall range. And then we've got Brenton Strange of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who they're going to be relying on heavily this season with Evan Ingram being gone. I think Brenton Strange is a good tight end, not great. So with that being said, I'm putting him in the 75 to 79 range, and I'd give him about a 78 as well, so close to the Titans tight end there. Okay, so the final AFC South tight end is going to be Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, did he get hurt last year? I'm pretty sure he got hurt. I think that Dalton Schultz also, all 4 AFC South tight ends are going to end up in the 75 to 79 range. I think that he's about a 79. Could be an 80 overall, but I'm pretty sure he didn't play last season unless I'm thinking of Jake Ferguson. And with that being said, I could just be being silly. But anyways, we've got Travis Kelce now. He had a down year. Yes, I know he had a down year, but that does not take him out of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL. Travis Kelce still deserves, in my opinion, to at least be about a 95, 94 overall. He's still a very good tight end. Very hard to stop. When he's the only player that you have to stop on offense, he's a lot easier to stop. But this upcoming season where he's going to be maybe the second or third option, he is going to have a great bounce back year this season with Patrick Mahomes on his MVP tour. Moving on to Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is going to be our first tight end in the 97 plus range. I think Brock Bowers, honestly, this past season, he looked unstoppable. How can you not give him a 97 or 98 overall? I know he's in his second year. Madden won't do this, but I personally, if I was the developer or the Madden rating grader like Chad Ochocinco, he'd be getting a 97 overall from me. He's fantastic. One of the best tight ends I've ever seen in my life. Moving on to Will Dissly, I believe. Will Dissly, no disrespect, 74 and under. Moving on. Evan Ingram, he didn't play much last year. I can't recall him playing much last year, if at all. I think he was injured most of the season. With that being said, I know how good of a tight end he can be. I'm going to put him in an 86 overall. Okay, we've got Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not very high on Dallas Goedert at all, actually, not even a little bit. I don't think he's a great tight end. I think he's fine. He's good. He's better than most in the 80 to 5. He's better than everyone in the 80 to 85 range, but I don't think he's as good as anybody I have in the 80 to 86 or 86 to 89 range. So I'm going to put Dallas Goedert at an 85 overall in the next Madden. Okay, and then we've got, I think that's Jake Ferguson of the Cowboys tight end, who I'll put him in the 75 to 79 range. He's not as good as most of these guys here. He's not as good as Dalton Schultz, so I'd say that Jake Ferguson probably deserves a 78 overall in the upcoming Madden. Okay, now we've got Zach Ertz, who had a bounce back season this past year, or at least a bounce back postseason. He was absolutely amazing. Jaden Daniels' favorite weapon in the postseason. I think that Zach Ertz has earned himself back into the 80 to 85 range. I'd probably give him an 80 or an 81 overall in the upcoming Madden. Okay, now we've got, this is the Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. Respectfully, I'm sorry, Theo Johnson. You are going in the 74 and under range. You would not be a starting tight end that I'd love to have. I think he has potential to be a fine tight end too, but as your tight end 1, I'm sorry, just not exactly what you want. Okay, now to start the NFC North, we've got Sam Laporta, who had a down year in terms of stats, but was still making electric plays all year long. He's in a loaded offense, so it's expected to see his stats not be super high. I'm putting him in the 86 to 89 range, and I'd give him about an 88 overall in the next Madden. Okay, now we've got, I believe that's Cole Kmet here, and Cole Kmet to me deserves to be about an 80 overall. He falls in that Pat Freiermuth, Mike Gesicki range, so I'd give him about an 80, 81. Okay, and then we've got Colston Loveland, who is a rookie tight end that I did not have high on my draft board at all. I did not think he was worthy of a first round pick. We haven't seen him produce on the receiving side as a tight end. I know that he was a very efficient pass catcher with Michigan, but I just don't see it, I guess, and we haven't seen it in terms of pass catching. His run blocking is very good, but I'm putting him in a 74 and under, but he could be a 75 overall, but I would give him a 74. He has to prove it to me first. Moving on to TJ Hawkinson. He still has plenty left in the tank, but we didn't exactly get to see it on full display last season. I would put him in the 86 to 89 range, probably closer to about an 86, maybe an 85 overall in the next one. Okay, now we've got Tucker Kraft. I know I've said it a couple times, but one of the, if not the most underrated tight end in the entire NFL. Tucker Kraft deserves to at least be an 82 overall in the next Madden. Maybe an 83, 84, to be honest. Tucker Kraft is really good. Really, really good. He's probably a top 10 tight end in the NFL, if I'm being real. I'm putting him in 85, actually. I'm talking myself into it. Yeah, he's an 85 overall. He's amazing. Kyle Pitts. I love Kyle Pitts. One of my favorite players in the NFL, but he has not produced at all for what we've been wanting and what we've expected out of him. So with that being said, he hasn't been great since his rookie season. I think that he will be better this season, but it's only fair to put him at like an 80, 81 overall, sadly. I mean, I'm putting him above all of these guys right here. Okay, now we've got Tommy Tremble, I believe that is the Panthers tight end. If I'm mistaken, someone will have to let me know, unless that's Jelani Sanders. Either way, they're going in the 74 and under tier. Okay, now that is going to be Cade Otton of the Buccaneers, someone that is heavily underrated, a PPR merchant for my fantasy team. So for just that reason alone, he's going to be in the 80 overall tier with Mike Gesicki. Okay, now we've got Jawan Johnson. I am not impressed by Jawan Johnson at all. I think he'd be a good tight end too. Maybe a good jump ball receiver in the red zone. But aside from that, I don't really love him as a tight end. I'm putting him in the 74 and under tier. Give him a 74 overall. And then we've got Taysom Hill. Just for his utility sake, the fact that he can play running back, receiver, quarterback, and tight end, I think he deserves to be at least a 76, 77 overall in the next Madden, but he clearly is not the same as he was a couple seasons ago when we saw him with Drew Brees. Okay, now we've got George Kittle. We don't have a lot of tight ends in that elite tier, but George Kittle is one of them that deserves to be in the 97 plus. I honestly, if a tight end deserves a 99, it's George Kittle, and honestly, I think I'd give it to him. I think that he clearly showed that he is an unstoppable force. He is a monster, inside, outside, run blocking. He is the perfect tight end everybody wants. Brock Purdy's safety valve, Jimmy Garoppolo's safety valve. It doesn't matter who the quarterback was or is in George Kittle's career. He always produces. He deserves a 99 overall. Moving on to what I think that's Tyler Higbee. Even if it's Jake Ferguson, it doesn't really change. Not Jake Ferguson that they drafted. It doesn't really change where I would put him. I'd put him right at about a 75 overall. And now we've got Noah Fant, the Seahawks tight end, who I'm more of a fan of Elijah Araya, who they drafted out of Miami. He's going to be very good. But Noah Fant, I don't know. Does he deserve to be a 75 overall? I think we'll give him a 75 overall. And last but not least, our final tight end on the list, Trey McBride, I believe from Colorado State University. Shout out CSU. Trey McBride is so close to being a 97 plus in my opinion. He is so good, but he could not produce in the end zone last season, so I can't give him a 97 plus, but I will be giving him a 96 overall, rounding out our tight end Madden rating list. Only 5 tight ends above a 90 overall in this upcoming Madden, according to me. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with in the comments. My DMs are always open. You can check the description for you can reach me. Join the Discord in the description as well. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and until next time, y'all, peace out.